back to the review edition of the None of the Truth podcast. I'm joined by, of course, my co-host Declan Jones, but I've also, more importantly, I've got Isaac Davis, aka Corbo, aka Corno, aka the Moffatville Mafia. But I've also got, with his shades on, Joshua McClellan. How you going, boys?
Mate, it's a pleasure to be here as always. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's been a great day. It has been a great day.
If you haven't even caught on yet, Drifters, we might be, responsibly having a couple of beers, but we're also unpacking the day's racing on the day of the racing at Eagle Farm, and what a day it was, Devon.
Do you know what this is? This is real. It's alive. It's raw. That's what it is. This is a raw take of what the day has been.
This is a punter's take. That's what
Exactly.
it is.
And sometimes when it's raw, it's a little bit unhinged. It's a little bit on edge.
I think the punters are about that though. They want a bit of security. They want a bit of realism about this podcast.
Yeah, well, do you know what we're talking, Joshua? We're talking facts, figures.
We do.
And the facts and figures at the end of the day is cold hard cash. And the cold hard cash figures that we're talking about today are well and truly in the positive for pretty much all of us.
I think so.
I think yeah, we've had a good day.
It's been a good day for all of us. Yours truly, my co-host Daniel Hutchin. If you missed today, it wasn't by much.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say, do you need to bring that up later? Because we need to have a serious discussion about that later on.
Oh, we do.
Because last time I was on the podcast, I got absolutely grilled about this, but we'll bring this up later. just saying.
Yeah. There was a certain member that wasn't part of this specific podcast today. That was a part of that podcast, and he might have been significantly at fault that time, or it could have been me. So we will get to it. What I'm watching right now, boys, is the first. We're not starting the group ones. We're starting with the first. So I was extremely keen on Queen of Dragons, who is the white one. We're heading into the straight here, basically third last, back on the inside. But Mark Zara on this orange thing namesake, back on the inside, just far too good.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I was shouting here for He-Man, and I thought we were going to get there in the end, but it wasn't to be. J-Mac couldn't ride his first winner in the first, but it was close, I'll tell you.
Came from last.
Oh, mate.
J-Mac.
It was a big run.
Namesake had form around the likes of Methuselah and a few others. So, no, he's a handy colt. What do you reckon, boys? Is there a future group horse out of that race or not?
Abounding's a good horse. It's been up for forever, and it keeps running in the top three. Like, what else do you want it to do? You know what I mean? Bloody good.
Win, I guess.
Oh, sure.
I was on Isthmus.
Isthmus.
Yeah, how'd she go? I didn't see her.
Oh, she peaked on a run.
There we go. Next to He-Man, and she just didn't want to be.
Yeah, look, her mother Shoals, as it turns out, probably a better horse. But the Freemans do have a high opinion of her, so...
she might develop.
You can't win them all, as they say.
Yeah.
Nah, well said, boys, well said. The second was the Gunsynd Classic over 1,600 metres. And boys, were we able to find a winner here?
Well,
I think it was this around the grounds that I went Sammy? Is that
this is the yellow brick race.
This is the yellow brick
Oh,
race.
yeah, we
Corner.
I found a winner. I was thinking...
So there's two blokes here who have a massive penis right now.
Yep.
Because they took on the $1.35. He jumped favourite with the people at Ned's. So we have two blokes here who decided to take him on with Britannia? Is that the name of the horse, sorry?
Britannia.
At what, like 6s or 7s maybe?
Yeah, 7s.
Mate,
So-
great pun.
So you know what it is, like, you see a shorty like that in the market, right? And if you tip it to win, and it does win, good on you, right? It's $1.35. good on you. Well done. But what's bigger dick energy is saying, you know what, I'm finding something to beat it at about 6s or 7s. So,
And here we are in
and
the
here we
straight.
are.
Look at him.
Let's
So,
go.
running the race sort of stuff. Soothsayer on his outside. Probably gets in front of him here. Not really. But J-Mac on Redenier, just far too good. And look at Yellow Brick just eating him up. Eating up.
Too late.
Tell you what, loves the speed there. Loves the speed, being on speed.
Absolutely. And this is what we said in the preview podcast was, well, half of this podcast was Redenier on speed last start, could potentially be a better bet at the, each way price compared to Yellow Brick. Yellow Brick awfully short. What would he have started your Stradbroke?
If he wasn't single figures, he would have been very close to, I think, Yellow Brick for the Stradbroke.
Well, Hawaii 5 is the horse ride, and he started $5.
There you go. So Yellow Brick for me, he just runs well every single time. I think he's a Group 1 horse, but I think he needs a mile and further. He's a horse I'd love to take in a handicap. Like heading into his 4-year-old season, I was telling Hutch today, there's only been 4 runnings of the Golden Eagle so far, but 2 of the winners have come out of the Epsom handicap, and the other 2 winners have come out of the Toorak handicap. And they haven't necessarily run super well in those handicap races, but they've come out of those races. So if I'm Yellow Brick, I'm going to an Epsom or a Toorak, and I'm running super well there, heading into a Golden Eagle as a 4-year-old. So he's a good horse. But 2 people on this podcast couldn't beat today. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree. Race 3 was the Wayne Wilson and Antino. Just absolutely ate him up.
Yeah, you would.
Oh,
It was
wow.
very good today, wasn't it?
Ate him up, chewed him up, spat him out.
Very easy
Really
to
did.
punt that.
He's another horse who, I think I said on the podcast this week, Hutch, a lot of other years he probably runs in the Stradbroke. He probably makes the field. And probably would have been like a $14, $15 shot. So the fact that he didn't make the Stradbroke and was in this race at Weight for Rage, or set weights, or whatever it was, yeah, he's a good horse.
As Newcastle go over with one of the softest trials of all time. But look at Antino here. Just off pace, bang, finds the front. And you know the class of this type of horse, right? So that's Munich running into second.
Who's a genuine listed Group 3 horse, I'd say, Hutch?
He is, of course he is. And one of the great money spinners of all time. I was on Dragon Leap. Dragon Leap I thought was a sensational bet, but it wasn't meant to be. And you know what? I'm happy to let that one slide because there were better things to come. What were you boys on?
That was a no bet race for me, to be honest.
I had a crack at Antino there. I just had a look at it earlier in the week and thought I'd one of the better bets of the day for me. So yeah, I had a definite go at that for sure.
See, that's why.
That's why. That's how we do it.
You know why? Because it's a jam. You get your knife, you put your knife in the jar, you scoop the jam out, and you spread it everywhere.
But best winner of the day for this podcast, Drifters, was definitely in the Brisbane Cup. You know what, Declan? This race is going to go for eternity. So can you please talk to it in multiple facets? Because there were several people talking about this horse today, Selena.
Oh, Selena, gee whiz. Look, we made the point on the podcast that in a 3,200 metre race, you want a 3,200 metre horse.
Duh.
And this horse, Selena, could go for 6,400 metres, which is 4 miles, not 2. It just keeps going. And there wasn't a lot of other horses in that race who have 3,200 metre form. So, yeah, it was just... And do you know what the difference was, mate?
Yeah.
Red hot Nashville Willer.
He was hot. Man.
He started
hot
soaking
today, mate.
He was hot. He started soaking the fire on Seleno.
Let's have a look here. So this is probably 1,000 from home, I'm guessing. And Selena is fourth last.
Yeah.
Fourth last. The favourite is out in front, doing it pretty easy. Nerve not verve, like next. Warning next in the running. And here goes Nash now. So I'd say that's about 800 from home. A furlong before the instructions were, drifters. That's right, we have the inside word. A furlong before the instructions to go at the 650. Nash knew the horse that he had under him. And look where he is now, top of straight.
He was laying out as well.
No, let's have a look at it. Let's watch this again. This horse is here. And that was the 600 that just went past, right? In the space of 10 seconds, this horse is equal outside the leader. And it is absolutely cruising. One of the great tips on this podcast, I might say, Declan, and you know, there is the inside word, but you want a 2 mile horse you want your money on a 2 mile horse in a 2 mile race.
100% you do.
As soon as Warning was good here.
Warning was terrific, Joshua McCullough, who you were on. That Quincy would have been anything with the good people at Nance, but it is what it is.
Man, I was happy with his run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he gave me every bit of value for my money that I had on him. You know, he gave me a red hot crack, but Selena was too good. Really, he set off the pace, and Warning was cooked by the time Selena came around.
As soon as Celino was worked into the race by Hot Nash, and as soon as he met the leaders, it's game over. He wins that race.
And Warning fought, which is all I could ask, but Selena was just too good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the other horses in this race, right? True Marvel ran second in the Sydney Cup, ran third again after a 2 mile hurdle maiden victory. So you knew he was going to stay the distance with Karen in the saddle. Warning, I think he's just needed this distance for a long time, and we haven't really seen him over that journey. He was terrific, but Celino, the class 2 miler in the field, and you were still led on with the good people, and it's
One of the
$9 to $10.
One of the top weights as well. So it's not like he had 53 kilos on his back; he had 57.5. So
Absolutely. And, you know, and that's because he won a Sydney Cup a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
People might say, oh, but he hasn't won a race for a while.
Fucking idiots.
Is it over 2 miles? That's what I'll ask you. No, it ain't. Alright, race 5 on the program was the Hinkler Handicap. Nothing much to report here other than, I think on the podcast we were saying that this was an absolute pretzel of a race, and it proved that way with, I think, was it the Big Goodbye who saluted him?
No, it was King Kappa.
King Kappa.
Yeah.
No, King Kappa saluted. What were you boys on?
The Inferno.
Inferno. I was actually on the Inferno, and he flew home for a nice 5th.
Yeah, I was on Bacalina. Yeah, you know, no good. I'm still waiting for that.
I'm actually good about that. Like, the Inferno got brought into that race very nicely, and just like here, I'm thinking, fuck, he's gonna get second at least, and done.
At least. He's done pretty decent to run on for 5th there.
He's done pretty well. He's just not a very good horse, I don't think.
No,
he's not. He's not. Like, yeah, he's nearly won Moya Stakes against Wild Ruler. What's he done since then? Jack shit.
Yeah.
King Kappa last prep, I think he put a picket fence together about 4 or 5 races. So he's starting to find that form again. He was $6 for people at Nance.
Alright, Q22. Who are we on here, boys?
Oh, without a fight.
Without a fight on this side of the camera.
we're on Jewis, weren't we?
We were on Jewis. I did say on the podcast that without a fight would be incredibly hard to beat. And not only was he incredibly hard to beat, he stamped himself as a sprint contender. Daniel Hutchin, take the honours.
Mate, he's a sensational horse, this thing. Best man of the day by yours truly. And I'm not saying that after the fact, that drifters. I said that before the fact. And
Hey, we're handing these tips out for free!
yeah,
For free!
you heard the man.
Fucking
We're we're dressing like this and we're doing a review podcast. Are you listening right now?
Exactly.
So Serpentine was going pretty damn hard out in front, and actually no, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. I thought he was though. I was like, watching the race live, I was like, okay, there's some decent pace, that'll work. That'll work in favour of your Jewis's, your without a fights. But in actuality, they actually were trotting a little bit.
Yes, because the race caller was like, they are absolutely trotting out in front here. I was like, that is news to me, because I hope they're going quicker, because Without a Fight is third last right now. And it was Serpentine and Colding who loves a look at Without a Fight right now. So he's hit the button from about 500 from home, hits the front probably 3 to 200 from home. Right now, 200 from home. I was celebrating. I had to rewatch the replay at the track to see how he actually finished off, because I was so up and about.
You were arrogant. He
Look
did
at this.
the exact same thing last time. He did the exact same
Look
thing.
at that.
It was an arrogant win.
Arrogant.
Honestly, this horse could be anything.
He hasn't beat slouches either. So Nonconformist has probably had his best run for a long time there to run second.
Yeah.
Jewis has run third, but I don't think he's just beaten a bad bunch there.
No.
Not at all. Like,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if that race rates very well.
Umarian, ran second in Caulfield Cup.
Yeah.
And
Nonconformist has run second in a Caulfield Cup.
this is the second time that Quetta has failed in the Q22.
Numerian won the Q22 last year.
100%. But Numerian, back on the inside, running 4th or 5th, but mate, this thing has beaten this. Beaten it by 6 lengths. This horse has got some serious ability.
Yeah, 100%. He'll run in a Cox Plate in the spring. Is he going to win a Cox Plate? I don't fucking know.
Who knows?
But he's good enough to run in that race.
Absolutely.
Especially if horses like Young were in it last year. Disgusting.
Yeah.
You say, mate.
It's right on. The JJ Atkins.
Oh,
fuck.
Lot to unpack here, drifters.
Should we talk about this after? Yeah, okay.
Alright. So, I got this race right and wrong, because the winner, King Colorado, I thought would be leading this race, and there he is back there. He is about 5th or 6th last. I've had to watch this race about 3 or 4 times to figure out what exactly happened. Because King Colorado, the only reason why I put this thing into my $100 strategy was because of the action that he has. And pinned the ears back, showed something for Kieran David Eustace, Jay Collette in the saddle, was $85 the day before the race, mind you, and it jumps at $18.
Unbelievable. Incredibly well found.
Look at this. Look at it. Saved all the room back on the inside. So many times you see this with the 2-year-olds. Pokes its head through and just gets the run of the race. Look at it go.
Oh, I thought I fucking won this right now.
So you were on Mako Miracle of Love, the bottom weight.
Oh.
And that's Tannhauser running on as well. He might, honestly, Tannhauser might be the one later on. And who was that running into 4th? Is that Cross Aor?
I'm not sure. No, well found, Hutch. I think drifters, by this point, you'd probably take into account of the fact that we don't really miss. We don't miss. Even when things are $80, we talk about them. Look, that was a terrific win. What do you take out of the race? God knows. We'll find out in the spring, right? I declared to everyone who would listen at the track, you boys included, that Tannhauser was my best bet of the day. Not only that, he was probably the horse I was most confident in, punting wise, for a very long time.
Yeah.
He ran well. He ran well. Yeah. He was beaten by a better horse on the day. There's no excuses. Is what it is.
Again, you had to run for your money. And
that's the thing.
At the end of the day, that's what you can ask.
100%. If he was running up the behind of horses and was running into brick walls, I'd be dirty, but I'm not dirty because, you know, he just
Oh,
got beaten.
ran better than congregation, mate. So, you know, that was my go in the race. So, you know,
$2.2 million colt.
oh, I'll tell you what,
I
10
want to
has
talk
more
about
cool.
that song.
There was, yeah.
Mm.
There was.
And all those make a call victims out there, your horse ran 9th and Safrado ran 6th. So
Yeah, so is Make a Call still a maiden?
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, that's the way it'll stay, you fuckheads. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's really not.
I'm kidding.
Oh, hey, do the connections really need that much more?
I
I don't think they do.
do.
I don't think they
Yeah, they got
do. Because,
militarised.
you know, they finished 3rd, 5th, and 9th in the race. You know, you had 3 runs in a good one. Let's move on. The Stradbroke Handicap. Where does this rate?
What a race.
Where does this rate in recent Stradbroke Handicap wins? I think selfishly, it's right up there.
I think it's as good as. It's not, for me, it's not arrogant, dominant, whatever, but it's as good as. Easily. He's an unbelievable horse.
He is. And you know what he is? He's a winner. And think about it, we are obviously talking about $3 favourite, $3.50 favourite. He was drifting on the day, drifters. But, geez, he was midfield. He went out, he was at the gates about 10 minutes before the jump because he's that much of a nutcase, he has that much of a think about it. But midfield, he's just incredibly well suited at these sprint trips.
Versatile.
Absolutely.
You would have been stoked if you jumped on it. Like, I reckon it was $3 in the yard. $3 in the yard, and then you go around to the gates. It's $3.70. So
Look at this.
good on you for waiting if you did.
Yeah,
So this grey mare for Peter Moody has
Channel
just
Lightning.
Chain of Lightning has taken him into the race perfectly. She's wound out, finishing, you know what, the second half of the field, but she's done her job for him, and he has just exact same thing that he did in the Kingston Smith in a handicap, and he's done it at Way for Age as well, and he's won this again by exactly the same distance.
He's putting legs on.
Do you know what he's done? He's put lengths. He's powered through the line like a horse who could run further.
Yeah.
And that sounds bizarre to say after he's just won 2 Group 1s over the sprint trip. But who's his sire? So Think.
Yeah.
So Think has won Group 1s at 2,000 metres here and overseas. And So You Think was a prick of a thing before race 2. So he gets that from his dad. But
2 Cox plays.
2 Cox plays, yeah. As a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. Oh man, I shudder to think what's under the hood.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Run.
It was. Do you know what he is, Hutch? Giga Kick-esque because he's bulletproof. Giga Kick's pretty bulletproof.
He is, but he will start. He'll be in the running before Giga Kick. So it's like a lot of people, and I reckon the bookies and the big form analysts have learnt now. It's like, you know where Giga Kick's going to be. He's going to be back almost as a back marker, right? Because that's where he's most brilliant. We saw in the Doom 10,000, he was closer to the run, but he wasn't as brilliant. But he still got the job done.
He's not a turn of foot horse.
No, this horse is going to be in front of him.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. And there's 3 horses at the moment that are going to be. This Everest is almost going to be the best edition yet because there's going to be I Wish I Win, there's going to be Giga Kick, and this thing. Think about it. It's going to be so good.
100%. And it's unusual that he's so lightly raced as a 4-year-old. With all these 3-year-olds coming through, boys.
Yeah.
Giga Kick, Ruthless Dane, Royal Merchant, In Secret.
Oh.
All these 3-year-olds coming through, fillies for the most part, and then Giga Kick who's a gelding. Add this bloke to the mix who's 4, but he's a gelding. He'll be racing for another 3 or 4 years.
100%.
How are our sprint ranks looking?
So good. The
How good are they looking?
mighty might have fallen with Major Street, but the next crop just come on through. So who are you boys on in this race?
So I actually had a good crack at think about it, but I had to stick with the Adelaide form on Royal Merchant after the
He's the mafia.
after the thing that didn't happen for myself in the Goodwood. I did like it in the Goodwood, but I didn't tip it. So I thought I'll have a crack here, but it wasn't to be for Royal Merchant. So I had a good go at think about it.
Yeah.
Matt?
Oh man, I thought think about it was going to be pretty hard to beat, but you guys know me. I'm not a favourite guy. It doesn't matter if it's $4 favourite or something. I'm still not going to have a crack at it. So for me, I liked how the Cardinal Gem run was going to be on paper. I don't think he got that run that he was going to get. But
That's him back here, right?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen where he finishes. By the looks of it, he's finishing near the last.
He's doing no
You know he does finish last though. 11-11, 2 years in a row. Congratulations to Connections.
100%. I was on Hawaii 5-0. He ran well. He ran really well. But he just came up against.
It was his opportunity.
It was
At
his opportunity.
49.5 kilos, he's not going to have a better chance.
100%. And I think, could he have run better? Yeah, I think he could have run better, but I still don't think he would have won. I said on the podcast, I said, think about it, he's going to be incredibly hard to beat. He's beaten the handicapper. You can't do it at weight for age that confidently and then come to a handicap race like this, shed 5 kilos and not run well. But Hawaii 5-0 was one of mine this prep, so it is what it is.
100%. I reckon a lot of black books will see this horse converge. Again, look at it run on here. Last 200, sensational. This horse will never win another race. I don't care how good it looks. It gets too far back, it just simply doesn't have a will to win. It just likes running fast. It just doesn't know how to run fast at the front of a race.
No, you're 100% right, mate.
He's always a good flashlight.
The issue with a horse like Converge is you win the JJ as a 2-year-old, you win the Randwick Guineas, did you win? Over 1600 metres as a 3-year-old. So you're pretty much trapped to Group 1 racing for the rest of your career. And if you're not elite, you're not going to keep winning races. And that's the thing. So where does he go now? Like if he races in a Group 2, Group 3, fair enough at weight for age. But aside from that, like where do you take him? He doesn't have his nuts. He's a gelding.
And we rewatched his JJ win today because we were like, who won the JJ in 2021? Turns out it was him. And I totally forgot.
In 2020.
2020. And he was sensational. It was breathtaking. We just haven't, against the open age, he's just not good enough. And sure, you might run second at Animo. Plenty of horses have run second at Animo, including Fangirl. Has Fangirl won another race since? No. She hasn't.
Don't get us started on
Like,
you're right, man, don't get us started.
I think I was the only bloke in this room who wasn't on Fangirl on.
but you were on thinking ran a really nice 8th.
Yeah, what was that?
It was that,
overseas thing.
You and Bradley were so arrogant on it.
Yeah, we were.
That was
We
the
can
best look at 20 to 1 I've ever seen in my life.
There you go.
It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So disappointing. But we move on.
And that's Drifters.
Light infantry.
That's why you have a little spec.
You know what? Responsibly, you never stop punting.
Responsibly.
Responsibly.
There's nothing responsible about that, Josh.
Sorry.
Alright, the last of the day, we'll get out of your earbuds right now because the Broncos have 8 minutes to knock over Newcastle right now. But Opal Ridge gets rolled in the last by Comrade Rosa. Now, I have to listen back to the podcast, Eklund. But I said if I was to, have a play around Opal Ridge, I think I did say I'll say she's a belter, Electric Girl Shaw. But on race day, what I said on the podcast as well, I might not have. Let's say Comrade Rosa.
I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to speak ill of anyone. So I'm just going to say this. You can't ride a horse 4 wide the trip over 1,300 metres and win a race very often. About midfield. You just can't. Chewing the tiara. That's all I'm going to say.
She was a lot closer in the run than I thought she was.
I was.
Oh, she's still making ground there.
Yeah, she was.
Through the line?
Yeah.
Oh no, this Comrade Rose is pretty good.
She held. Oh, good. Comrade Rosa held.
Alright.
I was a small, different reality, separate timeline away from having one of the most monumental fill-ups of all time.
Look, mate, I can understand how close you were to having a fill up. I'm going to tell you.
Are you showing some empathy for me right now?
Right.
The more feel bad for you.
Right here in this race 9 here in Eagle Farm, I had probably my roughest thing of the day right here coming around the outside, mate, and I'm having a look at it and I'm watching it run down the straight thinking, we're gonna go here.
I'm better.
We're going here. Alright, no, we are definitely going right here.
Shit.
We are going here. Oreo's Angel, is it Oreo's Angel? Yeah. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're on here. Nah, couldn't get there down the outside, but
Did you run third there?
we ran third there, mate. And
Oh, what's the Trumpet Hotline?
Thank God he did, because
I'll tell you what.
and this is where you play eyes up horse racing betting, because I've had a little trifecta and Corner has suggested that, you know, we chuck this in the quaddie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Don't talk about
Don't
Cordy.
talk about quaddies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna have a little quinella, and you know what? I was gonna have a trifecta as well. I'll chuck that in, and yours truly landed the quinella and the trifecta. I'm that guy.
Alright, so
I took the trifecta. That's enough for me. But I would have been happy if I was a place bunner and I had a go at that at the place. But you know, I'll take the trifecta and I'll walk away.
No,
Well done, happy with that.
you
That was a good end to the day. Not a Brooklyn hustle end to the day, but you know, it was a good end to the day.
that you say whatever you need to say on that side of the camera, right?
no, look.
Winners win.
What you've probably gathered from this episode, Trick, is if you've managed to make it this far, which if you have, it's a miracle.
I'm an oracle.
What you've learned is between the two of us, Hacho and I, like we effectively tipped the card. Effectively, right?
Well, we read.
So you would assume then,
Fuck it.
as a listener on the podcast, hey boys, you won the quaddie on Saturday, yeah? We did not. And reason being...
All the listeners are winning the
They're all us in the
No. As a bloke, Mako, who you've been rinsed before,
Mate, I have been...
we still bring
Fuck, I still get rinsed for this because I was non-conformist ran today.
Exactly right.
And I got reminded of that.
So you tell the story of why you're rinsed for that, and then relay it to the situation today.
So for all the drifters out there, I'm not a big favourite guy. I leave them for, and I always like to find Jews. For me, non-conformist, was that Corfu Cup? What that?
Yeah,
No, it wasn't like it.
No, it wasn't the Corfu Cup. It was first up over 600 metres.
Yeah. So it was first up. It was just like, for me, my argument was...
Oh, Ezra.
Ezra with the flick.
Drifters just gone over. Reynolds has gone over.
Has that got
Bang.
Reynolds a blue jersey?
Yeah, surely.
But should Ezra have a maroon jersey off the back of that?
All I can say is, who fucking cares who wears a blue jersey?
Oh, mate, they are
Queensland.
aren't they?
They are imploding! We are better. Anyway,
We are
sorry,
better.
Joshua.
Sorry, mate. So anyway, I got smashed for, I said to Hutcho, hey mate, I think non-conformist is a bit of a shit. I've got a bit of a bonus bet on this thing before a race. Didn't put in the quaddie. Anyway, what happens? Non-conformist wins the 20s. My sky pocket is full. But that doesn't help.
And we would have won the
We would have won the quaddie, but that doesn't
If
help.
not-
That doesn't help the group. It doesn't help the group. So what happens today? Hutcho, Strawson, boys, I think this thing's pretty good. I got it at 80s yesterday. I got it at 80s yesterday. I think it's a shout. Oh, fuck yeah. So, what happens?
I didn't say that.
It gets up. We're
in
yip
Colorado.
yarn in Colorado, you fucking dude. We look over and we're alive in the quaddy, you fucking dude. I didn't put it in the
None of that happened.
I didn't put it in the quaddy.
None of that happened.
I look at Jonesy and we look at each other and we give each other that look and we're like, you're fucking joking. Not again. Not again.
So we'd be without a fight at $3.
I could have got the quality for
$3.
So single-handedly into King Colorado, which would have been
$4.
ridiculous price.
18.
He jumps at
I think
18.
so. That's
Hutch, can I just say, can the markets and the bookies stop
listening.
following us in?
Stop listening to me,
Every-
please.
Us, thank you. What is everything we back gets pumped in? What's going on?
They know.
They know.
They're following boys.
It must
Yeah.
be. So
Absurd.
the moral of the story is, if we had King Colorado in the quaddie,
Yeah, we win the quaddy, but at what cost? It would have been. We would have. I think we landed on without him 70%. So where's that put us? Probably like 35 to 50%.
yeah,
I would
but
take that.
the good people at Enzo have really big pools,
That's true.
really big pools, and that means the quaddie pays well.
So
Neds would have come to the party.
they would have. They would have. So that. Well, to be fair though, we didn't have Colorado Rosa in the last either. So
Again, that was your second best pick.
for fuck's sake.
Hey, but you know what? Do you know what gets us back? Shards in, baby. Shards in.
And Bronx Nation apparently 2 minutes ago, 24-20.
But also, do you know what it is? There's 4 people on this podcast right now. I couldn't say if there's a victim in this room. It's the 4 heroes. The 4 heroes who all had a good day on the pun.
We're full of dominoes. You know,
None of us had a bad day.
that's a couple of beers.
No, couple more winners in Morpheville would have been good, but you know.
The Mafia's
Well,
just getting their berries, right?
So-
we'll save that for next week, Drifters.
Exactly right. A good friend of the podcast, one of the number 1 fans of the podcast, Jess Mitchell, she sent through a screenshot of her Ned's app with an all-up place with the Morpheville Mafia's kids. There was like 7 of them, and they all won.
Alright. The second.
Literally like a 7-leg
I'm
all-up
right,
place.
second
for
or
the
third.
Morpheville
I'll take it
Mafia.
right now.
But if you miss, you don't miss by much.
Oh mate, I'll tell you, it could have been a monumental day. But you know that we'll walk away and we'll come back next time, eh?
You're giving everyone else a chance.
And shout out to this Mafia's second biggest fan outside of like Corey Barsby.
He was riding that wave with yours.
He was about to.
I was
You up. You win that last one.
He would have waxed your gooch for you if you asked nicely enough.
He's a very good boy.
I believe Corey yelled out that he was going to have a horse head in your bed called after the first 5 races. You're like,
Oh, I tell you what,
that was
it took a
stress.
while, but we got there. We got a winner. We got a winner.
And he was up and about. He was all about it. Corey. Anyway, Drifters, thank you for listening for this edition. I think Declan and I only have a couple more editions to go until he heads off to Europe, but
The States.
Same.
You were going so well.
You were so
going
confident.
so well.
Declan's leaving.
Declan's gone. Alright,
Winners win.
this is what winners look like. Alright,
Winners win.
toodaloo.
Hooroo.